And so just know that I'm grateful you're here, all my online friends. So I was asked to give this talk kind of just a few days ago because we needed someone to give a talk. And it turns out that it's good timing because in just a couple of weeks, our friends from Ngari Institute will be visiting, and my talk is about my visit to them. And I just came back so long ago, it was a long time ago today, but it was in July. And so I wrote out my talk like I often do, and I apologize for my insecurity that I can't just speak off the cuff, but I promise I will look up every so often and you can interrupt me too. So most of you here that I know, this summer I went to Ladakh, India, and Ladakh, if you don't know, is located in the Himalayan region. And I had wanted to go there for quite a long time, actually, but to get there is kind of costly. The plane tickets themselves is close to, well, I don't want to discourage anyone from going. But once you get there, it's very reasonable. And that made up for the cost of getting there because it was so much cheaper than anything you could imagine here. Like I didn't have my usual go to Goodwill or go to Target for no reason. I had to just be there, which was a wonderful thing to experience, not being so busy. So this spring, I was vacillating if I should go because the previous year I'd gone and it was just, it didn't work out. I had run into some obstacles. I got on the plane 2 years ago, and when I was on the plane, they asked us all to get off the plane because of the mechanical issues. And I guess that's not unheard of with this airline. But just because I don't want to get sued, I don't want to say the name of it. So anyway, so that did not work out. But I guess the timing was right because this time it did work out. I was well cared for, and I got there. And so, but when I bought my ticket, my first thought was, oh my gosh, what have I done? Because I didn't get a refund for the previous ticket. And then my second thought was, I'm going to go. I'm actually going to go. And these two thoughts were with me constantly. And anyone that hung out with me would be like, oh, Patty, you've mentioned how you're scared to go, like every time I've seen you for the past 30 days. And so, but I was excited. I think those two things are kind of close together, don't you think? Excitement and feeling are both very closely related. So on the morning that I actually left was in the first part of July. I came to this temple and I said goodbye to Rinpoche and I said goodbye to a few friends. And that moment was really surreal to me. I reminded me because I have 4 children, it reminded me of when I had a baby. I was like at 9 centimeters, I said, I can't do it. And then what happens? You have to do it. I had rides lined up, airfare, everything, so I had to go. There was no choice. Only choice was to lean into it and go. And thankfully, my friend Bill, who you hear now, drove me. And he just did simple things like giving me granola bars and dried fruit and apples and talking about his childhood and where he grew up and just being, which was exactly what I needed to quit thinking about me. And every journey I've ever been on has been because of the help of others. No one sets out alone. So it took me 3 flights to get there in 30 hours. But finally stepped off the plane into the Leh Ladakh airport. It was just so incredible. It's so different. Like you're just in the mountains. You're just in there. The mountains are so close to you. It's not like far away, like you look in the distance and go, that's amazing. Instead, you're in there in the middle of it all. And everyone was speaking Ladakhi or Hindi or Tibetan, and I was a newbie, but I felt at home anyway. So that's when I got off the plane. For me, it was so touching because I don't feel like anyone. 3 weeks waiting for me. Kata's acting like I was a family member. And it was so amazing to me. I still can't get over it. So I have a quote by the Dalai Lama, but I'm serious. When I met them, my fear went away because they were a little shy themselves. It's probably because because we don't know each other very well yet. So I wrote this quote at this place, and I said, when we feel love and kindness toward others, it not only makes others feel loved and cared for, but it helps us to feel happy and peaceful. It's such a simple but true quote. And that was my first lesson in Ladakh. My fear was melted by the warmth of their kindness. So I'm going to speak to arriving in Ladakh. But before I do, some of you, I've shown this video a lot because a friend of mine that was there at the same time as me had a little drone, and he made this movie. I was standing beside him as he made this movie. I had no idea what he was creating would be so amazing, and I want to share it with you now, if you guys could show it, and I'll watch it with you because I have watched it a few times, but it never gets, because it just really takes me there. And if it's hard for them to share it, then I'll just keep talking, but we'll see if they can do it. They're talking amongst them. With their help, maybe okay. So I think I'll keep talking, and then when it comes up, I'll quit talking. Would that be all right with everybody? So you guys do. You can just okay. They're going to give me the little signal. So when I got to the Ngari Institute, Geshe Tsewang was waiting there. When they pulled up with their car, he was standing there next to this huge, one of those Dharma wheels that you push, and then it sends prayers everywhere. That's what he was doing when I showed up. It was so like what you would expect or imagine, when you go to a place like that's what they're doing. And so he was doing that, and then he came up and he offered me a kata, but then from there I started to feel dizzy. I had just gotten there, and I already was like, oh no, I wanted to be one of those rare ones that isn't impacted by the high altitude. But instead, I was one of the commoners, acted very much like the altitude. And I felt really bad, actually. I felt a little off. And he knew that so many guests feel this way. So he took me right away to this room of so nice, just with a comforter and this wide open windows, and you can see everything. And I slept for 3 days. That's what I did. Which I'm saying that because if you go there, which I really want anyone here to go there, because I want our connection with Nali to not be about just a few, but to be about all of us. So when I went there, I thought of that the whole time. I thought, oh, my friends would like it here. Like I said, I slept for 3 days, and every morning, at first I couldn't do practice even because I was too dizzy and I felt kind of flu-like. But I couldn't help but be impacted by the view. When I would wake up and look, where am I? I would almost forget where I was because I was not feeling quite well. And then all I had to do was look out the window and see those mountains that have no trees really. And then I could hear the kids playing because many children live there. And my friends are trying to resolve this. Oh, there it is. See this movie, you'll be glad I quit talking because talking can't really say the same as a visual in my view. So I'm going to be quiet now. I don't hear it quite yet, but maybe. Uh, so they say the sound might not work, so it's still great. You can still appreciate it because look at it. Look at that. They did this. They did this on a shoestring. They made that. Well, you saw it for a second, but it's going to come back.
What was the elevation there?
The elevation there, I think, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think it was 13,000. And then when you go traveling, it goes way up even higher, like 16,000. Okay, we don't have sound, but I think you can see I was in one of these little houses that you would go to as well. If you go there, you can have your own retreat house. You see the back of those tiny little houses? I was in number 3. But some people stay in the big compound. I don't know, the compound sounds the big building. And then it's a little closer to food and things like that. But some people like to stay in the little house. And this video is with drone, and that's the library. That's a library, and those are kids that I recognize them because I know them. And this is I don't know who that is, but that's my friend from France. And you can see that you do see trees here, but they planted those trees. That's not naturally growing there. They planted so many trees, and this is a little school. They have a girls' dormitory. That's right there, the close one. I'm not sure which one's the girl and which one's the boy. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, you can see they planted all these trees, and there's a lot of fruit trees. For example, right now they're harvesting apples. That's what when we get the water they built these irrigation ditches, and when I was there, I could hear the water rushing towards those trees. You see that? It's remarkable. They did all this work. And those are some of those kids playing dogs on the ground too. This is Jomsung Monastery that they're restoring. Their great teachers came because of this project. I talk about that in my talk a little bit. I didn't attend all these things, but I attended a lot. And these are the kids I was. Some of them are not there in this picture. Some of them went home because they had a week off. Here we see them doing demonstrations. They do every year they do this. And they do this together for like 45 minutes all together. And they study hard. They're being taught they're also being taught language. 3 or 4 languages. You see that little girl? That's I saw all the time 1 kid or 2 sleeping. There's no. That's a birthday party. Those kids, not as shy as I usually am. So they celebrate each of those kids when they have a birthday. They celebrate it. So it might be 2 or 3 kids at a time. This is someone's birthday. So whether they celebrate it is they give a little present to everyone. Everyone gets a present. You get a little tap or pencils or things like that. Yeah, so this is my friends did this with a drone. And, so seeing it on the big screen makes it. They planted all that. Yes. It worked so hard. Okay. So now okay, so here we go. So every morning when I started to feel better, I would do my practice and the mountains and the sky and the air, it just really quieted me down. I didn't have to try because I didn't have internet. It would go in and out, so I gave up. I didn't have anything but the environment, and it helped me understand why going away from all of those things was so valuable. And I have a quote from Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, because those that know me know he's one of the teachers that I it really speaks to me. And he said in this quote that when we step into an unfamiliar place, we lose our usual reference points. And I found that to be so true. He's like, and he wanted to say, we cannot really from routines or comforts of home. And then Dorje Rinpoche, he says, Do not be content with the outer husk of things, but go for the essence. Look within. So in the dog, I just use that quote to say, in a metaphorical way, the husk fell away. Because the environment was stripped life down to its essence, breath, walking, eating, practice, that someone who isn't really disciplined would find they were able to do, and you feel so surprised that you can. The children also were my teachers in the day. I mean, because my time was sort of mixed up in the beginning, I would just hear them playing outside. I mean, you could see they work really hard, but they play really hard too. And they play baseball all the time, and they play tag all the time. And they're just having an amazing childhood, like kind of reminiscent of something from the past where kids play outside. Some well-meaning people would give them iPads and things like that, but they didn't let them use them because they said they lose control. And they're right, because I work in a school and it's true. When kids have access to all this technology, we lose them a little bit. So anyway, then one day, this talk I pulled together very quickly. I think it'll be obvious as I go along. Some things will feel disconnected, but one day, Geshe Tsewang, in the early part of my visit, he let me know that not just me, but a little group of us would meet the Dalai Lama. That's one thing Geshe Tsewang does for visitors, not because I'm special at all. People visit him, and he knows how meaningful that is, and he's connected enough that he is able to let people like myself or you guys have this amazing opportunity to meet the Dalai Lama. So I did meet the Dalai Lama, and I met him along with a couple hundred other people. But that's just meeting him. It just felt unreal. And then they take your picture, so you can go show it. I met the Dalai Lama. But I won't forget that happened. I met him, and I said, I'm from Lions Road Dharma Center, and I was so happy to tell him that I'm part of you. Were with me. Then I met this young man that made that drone movie. And he turns out his childhood friend is the Dalai Lama's liturgical secretary. And his name was Yangten Tulku Rinpoche. And he said, I'm going to go and meet up with Yangten. And I'm like, I don't know what that means for me. So I said, well, could I come along? Because I wasn't doing too much. And he goes, yes, he's the Dalai Lama's liturgical secretary. And so he said, could I bring him a letter? Because I had a letter from our center that I wanted to give the Dalai Lama. But in this meeting I had that was 1 minute or two, there's no way they would not, it's not meant for that. You're just meant to just greet him and not. So I was able to explain about what we're doing to the Dalai Lama. He has more than one secretary. He has like a English secretary, a big community secretary, and this Yangten Tulku Rinpoche travels with him. So he said he would make sure the Dalai Lama saw this letter from our center explaining what we do, like recovery was in the letter, and like our programs like Entering the Path, and how we do meditation every day. And those kind of things were in this letter that wasn't very sophisticated, but nonetheless, it was a letter from us. And he said, we'll get a response, but we have not. But when I see what's going on there, I can't believe they even took my letter, because they have such a hugely busy organization. And on that same visit that I met this young monk, who I've actually invited to come here on Zoom and give a teaching about AI that he's using, because he was with me with the Dalai Lama. I watched the Dalai Lama talk to me just a couple minutes, but he talked to my friend for like the longest of anyone, because he's wanting this program where it's called Prajna Cultural Project, I think, with AI, where all those sacred texts will be accurately translated into all languages. Not like now, some things are picked up by ChatGPT and things like that. But with this program, they're hoping that they can go directly to the monasteries and get these texts and translate them for the benefit of everyone. And that's why the Dalai Lama was giving him this attention and time so I invited him to come here and give a talk to us to explain what he's doing. It hasn't been, I don't know enough about it to say more. I just maybe get a little bit of an idea from what I've said. So traveling with him was a young woman from France who was an anthropologist, and she was doing this research on long life prayers of the Dalai Lama and interviewing people about their, she was so nice too, and interviewing people about what the Dalai Lama's long life prayer meant to them. So that opened all these doors for her. Like she interviewed that translator that you hear translating sometimes when you listen to a Dalai Lama teaching. She interviewed him, and she also interviewed the same person I met, and she was just going everywhere interviewing people. And she's just in her mid-20s, and she's not Buddhist, but she was having access that people dream of, I don't think she fully realized. Maybe she did, but I don't think so. She just said, "Oh yes," and we went to the Dalai Lama's translate. I'm like, what? She was really nice too, and she'd like to come to America, so maybe all of you will meet her too. So just meeting these people in this short time that I was there, because I was there 3 weeks, it was so fascinating. I felt like anything's possible. What else is going to happen? Because doors were opening one after another, and I don't think they remember me, but I will remember them for sure. And I feel so grateful that I can share this, because I'm hoping the same, not same, will be different, and it'll be great. And you'll sit here where I'm sitting and say, and this time this happened, or things like that. So spending time in Ladakh, I learned that it's beautiful, as you can see, but also challenging, as you could imagine, because the Ladakis live with this deep connection to the land, much like our Native American people here. And because of this, they want to protect it. And they're very concerned about global warming. They are very sophisticated. They know that the melting of the glaciers too quickly will affect them deeply. They're like, like they have that saying, I'm just thinking of it now, like a pigeon in a cave. Like they have the pigeon go in first to tell what's going on for all of us. They're like that. They're like, we have to listen to them, because they're seeing firsthand. We all are seeing it, but they're seeing it even more closely because they live close to these glaciers. And because of this climate change, it's harder for them because they live close to the earth. They live, and even despite all these challenges, they still continue. And what I saw was to live with a lot of joy and connection to their family, with a resilience that I have not even come close to. And okay, so that's about them somewhat, but I don't think I've really given it justice. But I just wanted to mention this little piece, is that when you go there, the food that I received was so healthy. And then I went back to my protein bars, and I don't feel healthy anymore, because there I was eating fresh food every day, fresh, good food every day. It was similar, actually, similar like dal, every day you think, well, you get tired of it, but I started to feel different, like more energy. I realize I'm deprived of the most basic energy that comes from eating real, good, simple food. Every day similar, but you start to realize, I wasn't eating all this junk. I went back to it. First, when I came home, I'm like, I'm not going back. And then what do you know? I'm back to protein bars and Yoplait. And I'm telling you, in case anyone here is more disciplined than me and can recognize, well, that's not a bad idea. So everywhere you look, if you're there, are stupas, prayer flags, statues of the Buddha, Maitreya, Shakyamuni, Guru Rinpoche, that are so, I don't even know how tall, so tall you can see them from 100 miles away. That just shows you their values, the values of the culture. They protect these images, and every house has all these images that reveal their faith. And so while I was there, and this Geshe Tsewang is very humble. That's what I found too, that the greatest of the great are humble. They're not talking about anything close to how great they are. They're talking about helping. How can they help? Will you join me in helping? They want to ask, will you help me help? That's what they're about. So when I was there, I was one teacher that came was the abbot of Namgyal Monastery. His name is Venerable Thubten Rinpoche. I don't think I'm saying the name right, but he taught on the three principal aspects of the path, which are renunciation, bodhicitta, and correct view. For me, he spoke perfect English. This better than mine with the right accent, I don't know where they learned their English, but it was perfect English, and his intelligence and wisdom was so obvious. And to hear those teachings in that environment and to sit kind of close because of the way they are is instead like the stranger, the person who's like me, not a very powerful or important person, is pushed to the front. And then also, that's how they are. Also, the Ganden Tripa, these are the top people in we are Buddhists here, Vajrayana Buddhist practitioners, Gelugpa tradition. The very top were visiting Geshe Tsewang, and he's giving me the best room. It was embarrassing. I was just like, I didn't want that really because I knew the truth. I was amongst these really profound teachers. And then another one I saw, his name is the Ganden Tripa, the head of the Gelugpa school of Tibetan Buddhism. He also came and gave teachings, and they were completely in Tibetan, which I was glad because I wanted the people who were the majority to be able to understand fully what was being said, because I was a visitor. And then another teacher, some of you might not know these. I myself can't speak to a lot about them because I'm a beginner, but one of them was called Samdang Rinpoche, and he's all over YouTube. He's a scholar. He's so close to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and he's very old. He's revered, and I didn't get to see him, but Geshe Tsewang said, do you want to see him like me, just to have a private audience? But it didn't work out because I had to go, well, I'm not saying it the right way. I went to see the Dalai Lama. So, but he was offering me that. That's what's so amazing. They really are living what we learn. And then Geshe Tsewang arranged for a taxi to take me to all these different monasteries. I can't pronounce them properly, but I'm going to just talk about them just a little bit. And then just to give you a little bit of an idea, they are like 1,000 years old. And this taxi driver would drive along the mountains, and there's no guardrail. But I was able to look out the window, but I had to trade places with somebody because they couldn't look out the window because it's so steep. This is the Himalayas, and it's traveling so high. The highest point, I think it was 17,000, honestly. But by then, I had spent some time at 12 or 13, so I could do it. I was able to do it. I did feel kind of tired, but I was able to do it and appreciate it. And at one point, I saw a dog just out in the middle of nowhere, and that kind of broke my heart. I'm like, what are you doing out here? Because there's nothing I could see where that dog came from. It looked like a border collie kind of dog. And then another time I saw a guy on a bike, and I'm like, what the heck? Because if you saw it, you would say other words, because it's just because he wasn't riding his bike. He was off his bike, kind of walking it, but he looked fit as a fiddle, just taking a break, I guess. So that was that where I'm talking about, where I saw the dog and this person on a bike is called Nubra Valley. But I also saw something that kind of made me laugh, and I did not do, was a bungee jumping company. And if you saw it, you'd be like, who would do that? Because it was like no other bungee jumping we will ever see here. And it was but kind of cool too. Unfortunately, I didn't take a picture. I just thought it's so amazing that they're doing that. And I'm sure some people are doing it, but it looked highly dangerous to me. So when I went to this Nubra Valley region, it's known for its beauty. It's known for its monasteries that they're protecting and preserving through the donations of tourists that go there. But they practice there too, and they have caretakers. But when you see them, you think, how did they do it? How could they build something like that? No roads. These roads are new. They did this. It's just it's magical, really, to think that they did that. So I watched people go there, people like me that are just being driven around, and also people that are not like me, that are pilgrims, that go there and circumambulate the stupas and chant mantras, and they're just living examples of devotion. And then I put a quote from Padmasambhava here because our teacher says it in a prayer. He says, I think daily, my view is as vast as the sky, but my attention to the law of karma is as fine as a grain of barley flour. And in Ladakh, I felt the truth of that, vast openness held together by devotion and attention to every act of practice. Everywhere I went, the environment itself, the wind, that was very windy there, the silence, the moon, the sun, the sky, the mountains supported me. I realized that transformation is not something to make happen, it's something to allow. So when we are open to teachers and to community and to the sacred ground beneath our feet, the practice is allowed. When I think about the challenges the Ladakhi people face, I think about the challenges we face here in America. Because in the Himalayas, it might seem so far away, but the human concerns are not. So how, I wanted to put this in here because it's just weighed on me so much, and I'm sure it's weighed on many of you. How do we protect our world? How do we protect our community? How do we protect those without a voice? How do we live with one another with respect, compassion, and understanding? Right now, I've been feeling very scared about the rise of authoritarian tendencies and the deep divisions in our country, and many of my friends feel the very same. It's easy to feel powerless. My first reaction has been often fear or anger. Why can't people just love each other more wildly? What difference does it make for some of these people if people are slightly living a different lifestyle? Why are they putting so much energy into this, into harming others? And so in our tradition, we teach about interdependence, emptiness, that our minds and our world are not separate. What we cultivate in our minds matters for the collective. So in addition to prayer and study, one of the most powerful things to do is to deepen friendship, even, or maybe especially with those who see the world differently, because those people are part of us too. In fact, in my family is so diverse, which turns out to be a good thing because I love people who think vastly different than me. And I just think, I don't want to leave this world not loving them. The Dalai Lama reminds us, compassion is the radicalism of our time. So in these divided times, radical compassion, not anger, not cynicism, is what can bridge our hearts. So yes, my journey to Ngari Institute was extraordinary, but it was also very human. It was about facing fear, relying on community, meeting teachers, experiencing a culture that lives close to the Dharma, and returning home with a heart more awake, more tender. Rinpoche asked me to share how this journey transformed me, and I can say that my heart opened wider, but I also stayed grounded because I realized transformation is never far from the challenges of daily life. And wherever I travel, I carried my connection to my teacher. His presence accompanied me across every mile. Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche once said that we must learn to walk on the ground of our own being And for me, this journey showed that ground, vast like the Himalayas and timeless like the Dharma. And it also showed me the challenges Ladakhis face in protecting their land and the challenges we face in protecting our democracy are not separate. They are both a call to compassion, to generosity, and to courage. This is the transformation the Dharma points to, not just inner freedom, but also courage. So before I close, I'm going to see if our friends can share that this just simple video of those kids, because they probably are what I think about the most. I'm not sure if we can do it, and if we can't, we couldn't get the sound. So maybe if you wish to hear it, you can let me know and I'll send it to you. Yeah, I think instead, because we have a system that's improving things for us, but also we haven't worked everything out. So before I close, I wanted to let everyone here know that our friends from the Ngari Institute are coming here on September 30th. On September 30th, they're going to fly into Sacramento Airport, and some of us are going to meet them at the airport, and I wish for everyone to come. We'll meet here at 4 and then leave by 4:30 and go to the airport, and then they'll see how happy we are to see them. And then they're going to go from the airport. Daniel, West, and Matthew are going to drive them to this yoga studio in Granite Bay. And you can go there. They're going to do a Tara Mandala there over the week. And then Deb Dietz, I'm just saying these names because I want them to be called out for their goodness, is going to drive them back to us on the October 6th. And here on October 6th, from 6 to 7, they're going to do a opening ceremony. And that's really fun. And everyone should come. And then they'll stay here all week doing the Medicine Buddha Mandala. And this is extraordinary. But I told our teacher, Lama Jinpa, I said, this time it's being organized by someone else and a very nice person who's working super hard. I feel a sense of relief around that. And he goes, you're still responsible. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So if I'm responsible, that means all of you are responsible. Everyone here, I wish you would join me in responsibility. I have volunteers, the food, but also just being here, just being in this room with those monks as much as you can. Sometimes we think, well, I'm not doing anything, but you are. You're here. And that brings energy. You bring your energy, and your energy is powerful and it can attract more energy, because when you're here, you can let people know why you're here. I'm here to help them. Join me in helping them, because we actually have a lot. Sometimes we feel we don't have much, but we have a lot. Our smile, our enthusiasm, our support, we can help them. And so, I put this in here. So some of this, I feel it sounds, I'm not sure if it sounds like I'm hoping it sounds, but I'm going to say it anyway. So we owe to the children, both here and in Ladakh, to do everything we can to not let cynicism rule the day. I work in a school, a lot of you know, and I'm working with kids that really have it tough. Some of them, at least, have it very tough. And I always tell them, I'm so glad you're here. Now I'm having a good day. I learned that from our teacher. That's what he says. I remember showing up to his office more often than not depressed. And he goes, now I'm having a good day. And I'm like, and it made me laugh at myself, because I'm like, hardly can lift my eyes off the ground. And so I've been paying it forward. I tell them, now I'm having a good day. And so each person, some of us have more resources financially. Some of us have more resources, time. Both things are needed. And not one's better than the other. So I just hope, I can't say it enough, I need your help. And then also, I wanted to say this quote from Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, who says, the real miracle is not to walk on water or fly in the air, but to walk on the earth. Together, let us walk on this earth with courage and joy. Okay, so that's my Dharma talk. And I thank you, everyone online. Oh, there you all are. I see you now. And everyone here. And I'm here for any question or comment.
Thank you, Patty. So, Patty, I remember you mentioning briefly at a different time that you, on your tour around Ladakh, you went to a meditation cave.
Oh, yes, I did.
Could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah, this was a question from King Scott, and what she's talking about is I went to a cave that Guru Rinpoche practiced in. And some of these things were brought up because it's just a lot to say, and but privately I would tell anybody any of these things. But I spent some time in there, and it just felt. Someone said, "How does it feel?" And I said, "It feels like when I'm with our teacher, just like that. It just feels so special. It felt so special." And I was with all kinds of people there. Some, I don't know their backgrounds, but from all over the world. You could imagine something like that would attract people from everywhere. So there'd be monastics, and there'd be Europeans and people like me. And I stayed there a long time, and I just wanted to stay there forever. So that's true. I did go to a cave like that.
Thanks so much, Patty, I watched the video weeks before when you sent it, so to hear you talk about it was great. But I wanted to ask, so what's something there that you saw, a practice or a plant or something that you would want to bring here and bring into your own practice?
Oh,
It doesn't even have to be Dharma related, maybe just something they cooked or some type of clothing they wore, something that you thought, I really want to bring that home and incorporate that into my life.
I just, thinking object, I just like their attitude. Like, I would like to bring home that trust that they have, that they're in the right place at the right time, that they don't have to be anything other than that. I would like that. I would imagine everyone would like that. We could settle down and just help each other. That's what I saw. Thank you. So I think that might be it. Oh.
Curious about where the kids come from and where they go afterwards.
That's a good question. I wish I knew some, but I don't know as much as I'd like to. They come sometimes when they're really little, like 5 or 6 years old, and sometimes when they're older. But like one little girl that I got to know and liked a lot. And it's amazing they could speak English to me. Maybe it's a little broken, but it's like here these children come from very little, and her family lived near the Tibetan region. I'm not sure what that means exactly, like how she ended up from Tibetan region into Ladakh, And there's also a place called the Tibetan village that is, this is one weekend, I'm good with geography, but girl that I got talking to who was extraordinarily smart. I mean, she really was, and she was like a teenager. She she told me that her dad left the family and had some problems, and that her mother was a laborer, and that was her background. But I wasn't sure how much to ask. I wasn't sure. I don't know their culture enough to know. It just was really, I don't know. Like when she told me that her mother, I saw what the laborer's life looked like traveling the so many people seem to be working with and making walls and doing things with stone. So that seemed like a labor kind of job, but very hard. So she told me, the girl, I'm imagining she has a very smart mom that gave her most precious thing she had to Ngari Institute so her daughter could have a future, because her daughter is like, she could become a doctor. She's like, I played the stuff, you know. And that's just kind of a joke, but she was so eloquent. She was a teenager. So she kind of took care of everybody. Just so amazing. It just shows me that sometimes someone's background prevents them from fulfilling their full potential. And she definitely, with the help of Ngari Institute, will be able to go far. They're going to have girls or boys. It's great.
Thank you, Patty. Just two questions. A quick one. First one. How close to Mount Everest were you, and did you see it?
Oh, I didn't see the list. I don't. That's so embarrassing. I'm like the typical American, you guys, of course, but who doesn't know their geography? Like they have conflict on the border of Pakistan too far, and I don't know. I didn't see Everest, but it inspires me to look into it.
Okay.
How close was I? But it was the people look like the mountains in a good way. Just travel to Peru. So beautiful. The people in Peru. I mean, similar, just beautiful people, beautiful clothes, beautiful music.
And then the second question, how did it feel to be meeting His Holiness? Like, what can you describe the feelings you had?
I just thought, how is this happening? You know, like I was so excited. Also, I felt very shy because he had next to him what's kind of remember the Dorje Kasan, very serious, you know. When he went to what they call his area where he stays when he visits Ladakh, I got frisked by a Tibetan, seriously frisked, and through it's very serious, and she just frisked me all over, and just this little woman she in business, and I was waiting outside to go in. I saw, that was like I say, his home was these 200 people a day when I was there. I mean, think of that compared to how it is here. Then I go into where his residency area was because I met that secretary. People are playing ping pong. It's just like how you want the world to be. Not, it was beautiful, but you shouldn't sit here, you shouldn't sit there. It's strict, but I could smell some kind of farming. So they saw dogs walking around. This is a compound that you can't get into. You have to go through the Indian, like get things, so it's very strict. But yet there's it feels like a home, like a museum. I haven't been to Washington, but I highly doubt that it's anything like this. Yeah, it was very special, and I never forget that I got to do that. This room to get to do that. And I appreciate Geshe Tsewang for helping me to have this, I just, at times because I don't know what to do sometimes with the free time I'm used to having. Sometimes I even call Jen and go, I don't know what's going on one time because I got scared about just having this wide open time. But he made to tell a story, so I'm going to go back there. I don't know. It's expensive to get there, but once I was there, I didn't want to go shopping and stuff like that. It's like some people do. That's what they do. They go. There's shops everywhere, but for me, I that wasn't what my purpose was. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So I think we're done for today. And you've got those sign-up sheets in the library, so today you can text me or text Jen's here, Linda's here, and Mike's here. Friends are here. You sign up to help. I'm gonna do have Jen lead us in closing prayers now.
Thank you, Patty. That was so interesting, wonderful.
Thank you.
Appreciate you sharing your travels with us. Dedication. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. May the teachings of the Buddha flourish, and may the upholders of the teachings remain forever. May all migrators achieve happiness, and may they fulfill all their temporary and ultimate goals. Losong, magical display of the deep awareness of all the victorious ones, merciful giver of a stream of profound and vast instructions to the fortunate migrators, please remain always unperishing, unchanging, unfading. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of objectless compassion. Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom. Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the snowy land sages. Losong Drakpa, I make request at your holy feet. Any announcements? I think we had a number of announcements. What? Oh, I don't know all these dates. Okay, great.
So September 30th, these are announcements. September 30th, 4 o'clock. Some of us are going to go to the airport to meet the Institute and say hello to them so they know we're so happy they're coming. Then Geshe Ganden is coming here to give a teaching on the 8 verses of mind training, which he told me he loves to teach on that. So I want you to come and show him how much you appreciate him traveling here to teach. Also on October 4th, he wants to meet us individually. He wants to know us as people. So if you would like a appointment for a workshop, you can just said info at dharmacenter.org. Let's see what else. Oh, retreat coming. Stay coming. It's going to be 25th and 26th, whereas I've been putting it starting on Friday. I better have you guys that. I'm sure I'm not telling you the wrong thing. So that's a retreat with Shijinpa and with that retreat is open to people taking refuge or participated in entering the path. It's a Dzogchen retreat. And very special. It's going to be here at the Dharma Center. It's my announcements for now. I've said so much already. I hope everybody has a wonderful, peaceful day today. And look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Omo araya pazayana indi Om araya pazayana